She looks feisty now. Hey, without a doubt, we can tell Perry he robbed the credit.
6 months, 6 months away.
6 months away. Well, like I said, I'm swearing he's gonna rob the credit for 6 years. Like that. Well, you Jim, New Year. Good to see you. We got a new clerk over here with a spicy haircut. You know, you look kind of like March. Ready? He said 3 times. He walking home too very early. He said 6 months. I said, no, 6 years. A little hotter than that. 69. Yeah, 69. I got really heavy shit. Oh, the flannel. Is that flannel?
Oh man, you better believe it. Flannel. Life is good. Life is good.
We're proclaiming some of that.
That's what that was about after all my teeth.
That's what Christmas is all about, all right? Hear the Christmas story.
We ready?
Good morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I'd like to call this meeting to order January 2nd at 6 o'clock. I need approval of the agenda, and with that approval, we've got a request to amend the agenda to add the December 8th, 2017 executive session minutes for approval. So moved. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Ayes have it. It's our honor tonight to have Hunter Wheelock, the 2018 Brownell NRA National Shooting Sports Ambassador, doing our invocation and pledge.
I'll bow our heads to pray. Lord Jesus, we come before you today as a community, asking that you would bless this upcoming year. Lord, I pray that you would bless all of our officials and leaders here today, Lord, in our community as well as our country. Lord, I pray that you would bless all the attendees that we have here today, that they would be confident in all the things that you're going to do for them in this upcoming year. Lord, I pray that all of our works and efforts and service that we commit to in this upcoming year, Lord, that you would bless it all to your kingdom. Pray all these things in your name. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Connor, we appreciate it. If you'll stand there for a minute, I think you're next on the agenda. It's our honor tonight. We have a proclamation. Mr. Hunter Wheelot's a 2018 Brownell NRA National Shooting Sports Ambassador. Hunter Wheelot, a resident of Jones County, was selected from a highly qualified candidate for all 50 states as the 2018 Brownell NRA National Shooting Sports Ambassador representing the Royal Rangers. Hunter will represent the Royal Rangers organization at the National Conference and Convention and will have the opportunity to test, evaluate, and make recommendations on new commercial hunting products before the products are released to the public. Now, if you'd like to bring some of those to Jones County, if you need help testing, we'll be glad to help you on that.
I can see about that.
All right. Hunter has been an active member with the Royal Rangers since 2007 and has earned the highest rank available in each age group, accumulating with his earning of the Gold Medal of Achievement. He continues involvement and achievement within the organization through Expedition Rangers and Frontier Camping Fellowship. Hunter's son is Shannon Amanda Wheelot, 18, is the oldest of 4 siblings and is a high school senior dual enrolled as a sophomore at Georgia Military College with plans to pursue a bachelor's degree in business management. Aspires to work with the Federal Aviation Administration's air traffic controller. Now, therefore, being proclamated, the Board of Commissioners for Jones County does hereby congratulate Hunter Wheelot on his achievement, representing for the National Sport and Shooting Program, recognizing his outstanding achievement the 2nd day of January 2018.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Can his parents? Can his parents get pictures?
Yes.
Chairman, can his parents get pictures?
Shannon.
Yeah, come on, come on.
Get a picture with your parents.
So we gotta get
You get it, Chairman.
It's a photo op, okay? We're gonna cross our fingers on this one, alright? That's a good one here.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Planning and zoning is next on the agenda. Mark and Tammy Mims. Mr. Petrowski, would you like to present that to us?
Mr. Chairman, the Mims requested a conditional use to allow a second dwelling on their lot. The property is zoned RMH, and the minimum lot size in this part of the county is 3/4 of an acre. Since they have 1.77 acres, they could hire a surveyor and subdivide this property. There is a provision in the regulations that allow a conditional use of a second home on a property in this condition. Planning Commission has recommended approval of this request.
Any questions for Mr. Petrowski? If none, the Mims have anything they'd like to say if they're here? Anybody opposed to this zoning? Everybody gets an opportunity if opposed. If none, need a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Item C, John Avery.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Avery has requested a variance to allow the creation of a lot. Well, he will establish as a substandard private road. Mr. Avery has an existing driveway that runs all the way to the rear of this property where there's an existing double wide. He wants to cut out about 5 acres back there, and his son wants to build a house in the future. And so in that case, he'll need some kind of designated access. And rather than trying to create a very long flag lot all the way out to Chambers Road, he's requested designation of his road as a private road. This is a variance, so there's not a recommendation from staff or the Planning Commission.
All right, board have any questions for Mr. Petrowski? Mr. Avery, you have anything, if you're here, you have anything you'd like to say?
No.
Anybody opposed to this request? If none, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion?
Second.
Second, any more discussion? If none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much. Moving on to consent agenda for approval of the minutes. We got the first Tuesday, December 8th, 2017, moved from December 5th, 2017. And then we had a call meeting on December 27th on 2017, 11 a.m. Everybody had an opportunity to look at that. So I need a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
We have a motion. Second.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to new business. Approval to bid Jones County Library extension. Mr. Risner, I think you're on this board.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, and on the desk before you, I've put a few pages out of the library plans, and I've got a couple extra copies here if anybody wants one. But this is not the complete set of construction plans, but it'll give you a general idea of what's planned there. You may recall that we have money from the 2008 SPLOST and the 2015 SPLOST that's been allocated for this. We were also able to get $1.3 million through the state budget process in last year's legislative session. And so the library board has been working with an architect for over a year now, I guess, in developing these plans. Basically, what you see there on the front page is kind of the front elevation. There'll be an addition onto the right side of the building. There's also proposed a covered walkway there that'll go to the book drop, and then a covered walkway that'll go back to the parking area. The parking area will be more than doubled with this expansion. That's one of the issues they have there now. Excuse me. Over on the third page, you see some of the interior layout. Really, a lot of the interior of the library will be reworked as part of this, and new electrical and plumbing and that kind of thing will be run. And so what's proposed to go out to bid now is the hard construction. This doesn't include the furniture, fixtures, and equipment that'll come at a later time, where they would develop a list of furniture and that type of thing. But so if there are no questions about this, my recommendation would be to go out for bid for the library expansion.
Any questions for Mr. Risner on this?
Is there a way to get an alternate bid for solar hydronics?
I can certainly inquire about that. I know there were several things here that we talked about as potential bid alternates, and maybe we can add that as one.
There's no more water than they're going to use. It would pay for itself. They're probably not going to be open after 7 or 8 at night, I'm sure.
Right.
What was the total budgeted amount for the expansion?
So it's $450,000 from SPLOST and 1.3 from state funds. So it's 1.75 million total.
Okay, and what's the square footage we get out of that?
It is, so the existing is 6626. This will add 1,190 plus 665 in covered walks for a total of 8481.
1,190. 1,190.
That's right.
For 1.75 million. Okay.
I think I've asked the same question myself, and I think a lot of it is just due to reworking the plumbing and the electrical and moving walls and that kind of thing on the interior of the structure. I think.
Just out of curiosity.
No.
Could you build?
I can answer that.
No,
The problem you got is you got bonding on this too, and anytime you start messing with a bonded job, you end up, bonding is ridiculously expensive.
Hypothetically, not to change anything, because I've not been a part of any of this.
Right.
If you went to the square and you built 8,000 square feet, 1.75 million, could you do it? Just asking a question.
The kitchen, you punching in the numbers.
What was the question again?
If you went to the square, you know, the square is a space where ideally there's this great thing that's going to happen in the future. Could you build an 8,000 square foot brand new building for 1.75 million?
You're still looking at about 207 a square foot.
207, so 202 times 8 is 1.6 million. Brand new building. I was just asking.
Not with the standards they're gonna need for humidity controls for library books. The state's got a lot of standards that the architectural look of it,
Right.
covered walkways, all that kind of stuff. Those we would call fluff in a lot of buildings, but they do have a standard that they set for different libraries and stuff. So,
Would you get close? I'm just asking.
yeah,
Okay. I'm good.
if you had the property already,
Okay.
property, you could probably do it for less.
Okay.
Any other questions? If none, we've got a recommendation. Do I hear a motion on that recommendation?
So moved.
We have a motion. We have a second.
A second.
All right, any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't get a chance to comment, but the library board has worked very hard for several years trying to make this dream come true for Johnson County. And along with our state representative Epps and state representative Susan Holmes, and they're now finally seeing it come to fruition along with the people of Johnson County. It's badly needed.
And Dayla, I understand where you're going, but when you start doing state mandated stuff and bonding and all, it drives the cost through the roof. I know.
I understand. All I'm saying is if I've got 1.75 million and I've got access to land, no offense to anybody that's worked hard, appreciate everybody, state reps and everything else, at almost 10,000 a square foot, I'm building a new building. That's me.
Okay. All right. Any further on that, we'll go on. Number 2 on new business, we have adopt qualifying fee for the 2018 election cycle. Ms. Margie, I think you had a little bit of information on that for us.
Chairman Board Darian Hatton, who is not here tonight, has asked for the board to adopt the following qualifying fees for the 2018 election cycle. The Board of Education Chair, $180. Board of Education District 1, $108. Board of Education District 3, $108. The nonpartisan general election will be May the 22nd, 2018. The qualifying period of time will start at 9 a.m. on Monday, March the 5th, and end at noon on Friday, March the 9th, 2018. And I asked the board to adopt these qualifying fees on her behalf.
All right. Any more questions from Ms. Margie on that?
Are those the same price that were last year, the previous, or have they gone up some, or you just don't know? No.
Is there a reason why we only do odds or 1 in 3 at this point and not everybody?
The school board, they're staggered.
Okay.
Yeah. So you don't lose them all at one time.
Right. Any other questions? If none, I need a motion for this adoption.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Who did the second? I'm sorry.
We had 2 motions and then Daylon second. All right, number 3 on new business, we have a budget amendment for track and field. Mr. Goins, is that, who's handling, you or Mr. Risner on that one?
Either way, it's fine.
Not trying to throw nobody under the bus, I didn't know who had
No,
that.
it's all right. Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Coming tonight to ask for the track and field budget, the player reimbursement fee budget line item to be amended. We don't have a set policy, and that's something we're going to be working on in 2018 with the advisory committee. What we have had since I've been here was just a common practice. What that practice is each association would come with a letter of request for the player reimbursement fees. Track last year allowed that to slip by, didn't request it until after the official budget was over and started into the new budget. As an oversight, I'm asking tonight, we did this for basketball a couple years ago, so I'm asking tonight just to allow me to amend the budget with Levita so that they can get their money that they missed out last year. And I've gotten with Levita, we got some money we can slide over to make this right, and we're going to work on a policy to bring to you for approval soon.
Right. Any more questions for Mr. Cohen?
Nope, I'm just gonna, oh, sorry, I was just gonna, after putting foot to mouth, which I don't do very often, I apologize to Mr. Goins and the crew who worked on this, because inheriting this was new. And after receiving some bad information, I feel like a big idiot. I don't do that too often, but I appreciate you. And I'm man enough to say, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize. So thank you guys.
Motion still stands, Jim.
Have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All right, we have a second. You're gonna give.
So I let him do it.
No more discussion. All in favor, aye? Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Mr. Cohen. Moving on to number 4 in our new business is the first reading of an ordinance to amend Chapter 34, Article 4, Section 34 through 171 through 34 through 213 to bring in line with state law ordinance 201-801-10.
Go for it.
Go for it. Have y'all read that and understand it? Hold on a minute. Mr. Petrowski, I'll let you handle that one.
This is boilerplate the state mandates to us that affects our model soil erosion, sedimentation, and pollution control ordinance. Periodically, they update it, tell us you have to change your ordinance or we will not allow you to issue land disturbance permits. The changes in here are primarily focused on coastal marshland regulations. So unless we get massive sea level rising in the next year, this won't have any impact on us.
So it doesn't change anything we're doing currently?
No, sir.
Okay. Any more questions? None. I need a motion.
So move.
Second.
Second.
No more further discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 5 on new business, we got adopt mandated defensive driving class.
I got that one.
You got that one? Good.
Mr. Chairman, this is something I think has been offered multiple times previously, and we might have talked about this even going back to our retreat last year, but more recently, we had a safety committee meeting a couple weeks ago, and we got to talking about defensive driving and driving safety, and HCCG offers a class that it's a 6-hour class. It's free to us as a member. They've come out and offered it multiple times in the past, and we've had good participation. It hasn't been mandatory. We've still got some folks that drive county vehicles that haven't been through it, but so in that safety committee meeting, we just talked about the idea of making it mandatory for anyone that drives a county vehicle or drives on behalf of the county. Mm-hmm. And like I said, free class. The certification is good for 2 or 3 years, depending on your insurance carrier, I think is what we understand. So, so it's not something people would have to do every single year, but just thought it would be a good addition to our safety requirements.
And possibly could help us down the road on our insurance, maybe also.
That's right, and it can actually help individuals with their personal motor vehicle policies, depending on carrier.
Yeah. Should we mandate board including that?
If you operate a county vehicle, absolutely.
I do think we open it up to any county employee that does not drive a county employee, since it's a free class, because you're right, it does help. With your personal insurance too, depending on your carrier. Most name brand carriers acknowledge it and give you a discount for it. Yeah, and it will absolutely give us a cost break on the insurance for our employees that are driving.
Are we actually driving? It's actually just in class.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's all classroom instruction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if we have a large enough demand, we can move it to the Knox Center, so we can accommodate everyone.
Oh yeah, we'll find somewhere to.
All right, sounds good.
Most of the ones I've seen they'll do multiple classes. They'll only want to do 30 to 50 at a time.
Okay.
So they'll do multiple classes.
So current operators, drivers of vehicles first, and then everybody else after that?
Yeah, I would say if you're gonna drive a county vehicle, I'd rather board I'm throwing us under the bus too. We're liable to have to get in one. If it's good for one, it's good for all, so I think it wouldn't hurt us to go either. Might even have a red vet down there to test drive when we get through. But, with that said, I need a motion to.
All right, so I'm sorry, I need to vote on the motion to ask the question.
Okay. Well, you can ask the question before the motion.
Will the motion be mandatory for those that drive county vehicles and then voluntary for the others?
Yeah. Okay. Ms. Margie's clarified our motion.
Yeah. Chairman, I make a motion that we make a defensive driving class mandatory for all personnel that drive county vehicles, optional for any other employee, including the board.
Okay.
Second.
Got a second? Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We have no business tonight. Department heads, who wants to go first? Mr. Jackson? You got a report for us?
You know what? I didn't have one plan, but the new building's coming along.
All right, appreciate it.
Everybody's asking, trying to get it out there if anybody watches this on the TV thing, whatever you call it. I said in that interview, I know a lot of people saw probably February, if everything goes like it's going right now, we might be out in the next 3 weeks, maybe. Please don't hold me to that. But every time I make a prediction, something hits a wall somewhere. But it's looking good right now. All we got left is paint, ceiling tiles, and plumbing fixtures, toilets and sinks and stuff you put in after the paint. And that's about it.
That's great.
The parking lot came out hard as a brick or harder. You can land a jumbo jet on it. And so everything's going real good.
That's great.
That's it.
Great news.
Thank you.
Mr. Goins, you got anything else?
We're good.
Mr. Risner?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, just a couple of things. I was just going to let everybody know we've got several items out for bid. 3 of them are due back on Friday, and we'll have them on the next agenda for an award. Those are the inclusive playground, the concessions operations at our recreation facilities, and then the hydro excavator for the water department. Those are all due back Friday. We're in the process of putting out the bid documents for the ILMIG off-system safety, which is something that y'all may recall from middle of last year that we had requested money for, and that was for guardrails and rumble strips. And so we're in the process of getting that out for bid. The other thing I was going to mention, I think it was at one of our meetings or our only meeting in December, I guess, we referenced some issues we were having over at River North with a lift station, where we were having issues with the lift station itself, and then we had issues with the road going into the lift station. We have a temporary fix in place there now for the lift station, and we've got a road in place now. We're working to try to correct some of the drainage issues that caused the road to wash out in the first place there, and talking with the River North folks and trying to help them locate which pipe is clogged up, this resulting in a flow of water that goes down and does 2 things. It flows downhill and washes out our road, and it also fills up the lift station. So we are working with them to try to identify where the end of that pipe is, and then they've assured us they'll take steps to repair that pipe. So hopefully we'll have that finally resolved in the not too distant future. So.
All right. With that said, I mean, it's just involved Public Works is going to, the excavator's already there, so they're going to try to locate in the pipe for River North so they can see what their next step is in repairing the problem. And Because the source of the problem was a storm drain that apparently been stopped up for quite some time, and trying to locate the end of it, they haven't had any luck. So we've got an excavator there, so Public Works are gonna go there and try to help them find the end of that pipe so they know what their next move will be. All right. Anything else, Mr. Redner?
I think that's all I've got right now.
All right. Moving on, we'll go to commissioners' comments. Mr. Robinson, you wanna go first tonight?
Just want to congratulate the library board for all their hard work, and I mean, they've been at this for many, many years. And they worked hard and had the grant pulled out from under them, and very disappointed, and they went right back to work, and they stayed at it, and it paid off for Jones County.
Commissioner Martin?
Happy New Year, everyone. 2018, looking forward to it being productive, exciting, and rewarding. Just going to re-echo sort of common sense approach to doing business. If we have resources coming in, and I'm going to use the library as an example, and even the courthouse expansion that we know is coming up, 1.75 plus 3 million gives you kind of 5 million and an opportunity to really build a facility that community can appreciate and sort of coexist in a similar space. If we're really talking about squares and developments where the community becomes walkable, and it all kind of fits together synergistically, just again recommend you look at that big picture. I'm not from here, so I don't understand the nostalgia between everything. I just know when I look at resources, if I can put court money and library money, and now that money gets multiplied and we can do more in the downtown space, let's go for it. At some point, the county space becomes an issue too, and I haven't looked at our comp plan to know where we're headed, but this building's old and we've got a lot of dollars in it, and it'll need a lot more dollars. And if we looked at cohabiting all of that space and aligning all those resources, you get more bang for your buck, and everything's brand new and not just what we added on to. Because I've seen Band-Aids and fixes coming here and there, but it's an opportunity for a new year to do something new, to go in another direction. So just throwing that out there. Again, appreciate all the hard work that everyone has done, especially with regard to the library and the grants, employees, and so on. Looking for a great year. Track season will start shortly. We do signups beginning next Saturday, and we're excited about it. If you have kids, grandkids that are interested in running, tell them come on out. They do well, and a lot of our kids are going to the high school and compete, end up becoming district, regional, state champs, and get scholarships to go off to college. So that's all I got.
Thank you. Commissioner Pitt?
Okay, Commissioner Martin, we want to wish everybody a happy new year. Did a little survey on Facebook, and I said I would share it with the board, and I think some of the board members may have saw it. Some of the top items that people mentioned they would like to see us work on in 2018 was when it comes to like Windstream, holding those guys accountable and trying to get some type of broadband in our communities, continue to work on our roads and improving those, recreation, a litter ordinance, something that we can look at with a lot of trash, debris on the side of the roads. Something we're all trying to do is trying to cut costs and cut taxes, making our meetings more accessible. And I think the chairman chimed in and told one of the guys how they could do it, easily get on the email list as well as streaming our meetings online. Another comment was about rails or trails, emergency assistance for those in need. There's a lot of cold weather right now, trying to make sure that the county is able and willing to help those in our community that may need some aid and assistance. Another idea that was shared was economic development. Sure about some other surrounding counties have economic development, but we need to have some ourselves so that people in Jones County can work in Jones County versus having to take our resources outside of the county to work. And so those are some of the things I wanted to share with the board to make sure we're all aware of some of the items, that the citizens are saying and some of the concerns that they have. And something that's on my plate that I want to share with the board and ask the chairman, I may need to put on the agenda for the next meeting, is wellness. I really feel like wellness is going to be a ticket for us to try to save money with our employees, as well as a quality of life type issue. And being that we have the softball field, and I overheard Matt doing the Recreation Advisory Board meeting, looking at things of doing there, we have some money in the 09 SPLOS. And I would like to see if we could allocate $1,000 for our wellness committee to meet with an engineer and landscape architect to find what can we do at that space for the best use. So it's not only for our employees, we have a nice gym for them, they can go walk, as well as for the community. It gives us another option from the high school track. It may get to the point where we can actually host Relay for Life here. Have a great parking spot, have a nice walking facility, and so you just let me know, can I get a consent of the board, or is it just best that I put on the agenda for next
We'll
week?
put it on the agenda.
Okay, put it on the agenda for next week. And that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Commissioner Kitchen.
Just like everybody else, Happy New Year. Looking forward to it. Kind of want to look back a little bit on last year and just say that I think we've come a long way in 1 year, especially for three of us being very new. We've made big strides, and I think a lot of that is from us really working together and having a common goal and a common agenda. So I want to say to the board, thank you for working together and putting our community first in what we're trying to do. And I think that shows when you have so many 5-0 or 4-1 votes, that we're, most of the time, we're all on the same page. And that's a good thing. That lets you know that you're moving forward and you're trying to do the right things. So I do want to bring up, and I was hoping Matt might say something about it, but we have a recreation advisory board that every district has a representative. With me now being on the commission, I stepped down from that rec advisory board, so I'll need to appoint somebody. We do have a candidate that has expressed interest and willingness to serve on that board. I think that allows Matt and the board to start meeting more regularly and getting some good things to bring to this board. So I'm looking forward to what they'll do in 2018, and so we'll put it on the next agenda, nomination for my replacement on that board. So
That's it. Anything else?
that's it.
Moving forward, citizen comments. Anybody like to come forward? But it's quiet tonight. We're starting 2018 off. Great.
We'll update you real quick on Don.
Yeah.
He's home, he's doing good, still got a long ways to go. If y'all can keep Don Graham in your prayers, be good.
All right. Thank you very much. Absolutely. And Don sent us an email on the weather alert coming up. Possible snow flurries, I saw.
Go get your bread and milk.
Get your bread and milk, because it's coming. It's coming. All right. At this point, I'll need a motion to adjourn to go into executive session for personnel issues.
So moved, Chairman.
Have a
Second.
motion, so moved. Who's got a second? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank everybody.
Getting up.